Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Will Button, Director of Sales here at Curry Supply, and we're thank you for being here for our fifth and final live from Arizona event. Pat Ellen.
My name is Pat Heelan with Curry Supply, National Account Manager. Today we're going to be reviewing our T-Max bodies, service bodies, mechanics trucks. As you can see, we have two different bodies here. We have a T-Max 1 over here to the left of us on a 550 chassis. This body is designed for your municipalities, your small construction companies, maybe your small equipment dealers. Currently, the way that body's set up right now, you can put up to a 7,000 pound crane on it. You can do a 9 or 11 foot body. It also comes in steel or aluminum, and depending on the configuration, you have about 3,500 pounds of payload left available. Behind us, we have a T-Max 214. With this body, this comes in options of 11 foot or 14 foot, steel or aluminum, and takes up to a 12,000 pound crane. This truck can take a capacity of payload left right around 7,000 pounds. Now we do have an option in between these two trucks. That's a T-Max, a third option. This is a T-Max 3. This is designed more for your mining construction, your mining industries, your heavy equipment industries, where some heavy repairs are being done. This can accommodate a 14,000 pound crane, can come in steel or aluminum, and also the available payload is roughly around, I believe, 11,000 pounds on that truck left. Those are usually your heavy single axle trucks or your heavy tandem axle trucks. So we're going to move on to the other side of the truck here, our street side of the truck, and we're going to go over the body itself. We have the doors opened up on this truck. This is a T-Max 214. So basically what we're saying is this is 14 feet long. If this was 11 foot body, basically this compartment or this section right here would be eliminated from the body. But this is on a 14, so this is the storage that you would have. The setup that you're going to see today is sort of our standard setup that we do in all of our stock trucks. This setup sort of meets or exceeds about, I'd say, 80 to 85% of our clients' needs. Going over the body, this is an aluminum body. And when we say aluminum, what does that mean? So we're saying the doors are aluminum, the side packs are aluminum, but we put steel where it needs to be. So the floor is still going to be steel, as well as our isolated crane compartment, which is exclusive, that we're going to talk to you about here shortly. Now, if this was a steel body, there is some similarities, and one of the similarities is it's still going to have aluminum doors. So we put aluminum doors on a steel body to help save some extra weight. Speaking of the doors, as you can see, they are a double panel door, so we have an outer and an inner shell of this. And basically the reason why we do this is because you're going to have some heavy tools inside. You're going to have some heavy parts. We don't want those tools coming out, hitting the doors, which is probably going to happen because you're going to be on some off-roads, you're going to be going down some haul roads as well. If a tool hits us at all, you're not damaging or denting anything on the outside of the door. So therefore, by doing a double panel door, the inside will take the abuse while the outside still has a nice finish to it. One thing you'll notice inside our doors that you can't really see, but you can see some rivets, is we do have what's called a top hat system. And inside this door is basically just some extra bracing inside. So if the door's in some wind or it gets hit around a little bit, if you notice the doors are very sturdy and will not bow or bend at all. Next, I want to talk about our latch system. This is pretty much the work zone. This is the office for a lot of mechanics. This is something they take a lot of pride in and have a lot of money invested in the tools that usually are stored inside this truck. One thing that we do like to talk about is our latch system on this truck. It's a two-part latch system. As you can see, it has 3 locking points, one up top, one here on the side, and one on the bottom. So when you turn it, it does latch it. But the nice part about it is it's a compression latch. So when you actually pull in the latch, it pulls this center latch in to give you an airtight closure.
Yeah, Pat, it's just like having your car weather guarded compression system, just like the automotive or this truck would have, to keep all the environmental concerns that would be to protect their assets.
Yep, absolutely. And if you notice here on the door, we have a weather seal on the door itself. and also in the compartments. So that for when you're locking the door or closing the door, we have a 2-part seal system to help keep any type of moisture, debris, or dirt out of these compartments. One thing that I want to talk about that you're not going to be able to see, but we do have backlighting inside all these compartments. We actually have it on the front of the body here, shining into the loads, into these cavities. And by doing this, it actually allows you to see what's inside, where if you have a light up top, you might just see what's here or not back. And also, if a light's up top and you pull a drawer out, you're not going to be able to see anything below it. So that's why we put it on the front here of the body. We do have toolkits or tools chests inside these trucks as well. This is 11 drawer set right here. This is steel, made by American Eagle. We do have an aluminum option. If we were to go aluminum, it'd be about a 150-pound saving. Total aluminum, if you were to go aluminum on the entire body versus the steel, you're anywhere from 700 to 800 pounds savings depending on the configuration that you were to go with. A couple different options on the drawer sets. You have the T-handle, which is just a simple turn and pull out. You do have another option, which is if you have it like the toolbox maybe at your house, where it's just a pull handle, so just a little tab that pulls up and then pulls out. And then it's also something neat and exclusive to this tool set is, say you have all your tools or you're loading a drawer to go work on a piece of equipment, and all the tools in this drawer need to go over and work on that piece of equipment. You can actually just pick up, as you can see right here, and take the entire drawer set with you onto the job site. So definitely a unique solution. Something that we've had a lot of great feedback on, just so you're not making constant trips back and forth to the truck.
And on the LED lights, to revisit that, having the light system in this truck allows the mechanic or the service technician to work at night. It doesn't matter if it's nighttime or daylight, and it's pretty unique. All of our service bodies have that implemented into it, so it's a nice feature to have those LED lights there for nighttime, as well as the tip of the boom has a light as well. So.
Yep, and if you see right here, this is just grant this is the configuration of this truck, but we just have some shelving in here. This shelving can withstand 250 pounds, whereas the tool chest or the tool drawers can withstand 500 pounds. You can do bolt bends here, you can put another toolbox here. I mean, this one thing nice about a mechanic's truck is we can truly customize it to fit your needs at exactly how you need it to.
As you can see, the E-Track system allows you to move. If the mechanic gets his truck, wants to add or subtract, delete anything, he can totally configure it to that person's liking, if you will.
Yep, so absolutely. So moving down, I said these compartments, we'll open this back up so you can see, sort of configure it however you want. We just have some shelving in this one right now. Like I said, 250-pound weights those shelvings can handle. As Will mentioned, you can adjust the shelving however you would like. If you got something taller, you can maybe even take a shelving out. Another compartment here, we added a drawer set here, a 3-compartment drawer set that you can pull out. Again, we can do shelving, we can do, sometimes some people maybe mount their reels if they have a lube system inside the truck. They want to mount some of the reels inside here. So a true total solution, however, to meet your needs. We're going to move around to the truck here again. We have outriggers on the truck, one here on the street side, one on the curb side. The street side, as you can tell, just is a vertical outrigger, which just goes straight down. This is all hydraulic driven, whereas on our curb side,
this one slides out.
That one will slide out. Moving up here on the body a little bit, we're going to talk about the light brackets here, the rear light brackets. The reason why we want to talk about this is, if you notice, they are on the exterior of the body. They are not flush mount, and we do that for a reason. Every inch counts inside these compartments. This is where a lot of the tools are being used or stored at. So we don't need all this bulkiness on the inside with light brackets, extra wiring hanging out where a tool might grab a wire and break it possibly. So we do an exterior mount. It's an aluminum housing, powder coated, but it also gives us the ability, if we want to add any lights to the rear of the truck, we have a mounting point too. Also, it eliminates any drilling into the body if we wanted to add an additional light, because we can do it right here. And speaking of the lights, speaking of the drilling, that's our next part that I'd like to talk about on this bed. So if it's an aluminum body, we have an extruded aluminum top on this truck. So let me go up here and just explain a little bit about that for you guys. So what I want to do It's a very unique feature, and this feature is only on our aluminum service body. So if you see, it's extruded aluminum to help support the weight and the capacity, but there's these channels that run on the body, and it runs from the whole length of the side pack. And what that allows you to do is we actually make these T-handle bolts. So you just slide the bolt in here, turn it, and then you can mount any type of lights, any type of back box, anything that you want to add to the top of the bed. This eliminates you from doing any type of drilling into the side pack. And the reason why we think that this is such a great solution for in the industry is because, again, you have heavy, expensive tools in these compartments. We don't want them to get damaged by any type of rain or dust. Anytime you drill through a side pack, no matter how well you try to secure it, over time it's going to create a potential leak point. And by doing this system, which is on both the curb side and the street side, this is going to eliminate any type of potential leaks going down the road. While we're in the load space here, I'll just talk about this is 50 inches wide, so it is room for big enough if you want to slide a crate in here by we do have 6 tie points, D-rings along the inside, and it's line matches for durability. Remember, aluminum side packs, but the floor is still made of steel. We have our P-handle grab here to help maintain getting up and out of the truck. We do have a step here as well. This step is universal, where it can either be mounted on the street side or the curb side. It's just unbolts it and moves it right over to the other side.
Yeah, good point, Pat. I mean, having this T-handle here is definitely a safety. We want 3 points of contact at all times. Safety is paramount with Curry Supply, and we hope that our partners are safe as well. So. Yep,
absolutely. We have a workbench bumper. We call this the workbench. This is pretty much where the mechanics are going to be performing their work at. If you notice, we have a vice mount plate right there beside Will. This is something that is universal, that can go from that side or this side, depending on the client's or the mechanic's need where he would want it at. Also, it has a 1/4-inch top. This is going to be, I mean, if you're going to do any banging or anything like that, the top can definitely accommodate it. And then we do a Line X finish over it. If you look inside as well, the box, it's 14 inches. We have a work-through compartment. And this is more or less designed for your longer tools, your crowbars, your breaker bars, anything that's longer that can't be stored inside one of the side packs. This is a great solution to store it. It is the length of the bumper. And then, again, another compression latch on it. As you see, we only have one seal on this. It's as tight as we can get it. If it's not, but it's not going to be truly dust-proof or waterproof. So you might see a little bit of moisture in there, but it is sealed tight. This does have the capability of doing any type of hauling if you want to put a hitch on it. We do have support into this bumper, and it can accommodate 1,000-pound panel hitch on the truck. We have a 12-inch aluminum tailgate that can be controlled by this apparatus on the side. You can lift it completely up, pull it down, and then you got your tailgate platform to work in and out of. To put it back, you pull up, and then to lock it, you're going to pull this down, and that locks the tailgate. It's a very unique system exclusive to the T-Max bodies. Speaking of the lock systems, we have the capabilities of either doing a master lock system or an individual lock system. The master lock system, which is on both sides of the side packs, is right here, where you can pull this lever down. And by pulling this lever down, it's going to lock all the side packs at once. So you can put a lock in here and lock all the side packs at once without going in individually. If you wanted to lock them individually, each handle has a lock that you can put your key in and lock whichever door you'd prefer. So if you have multiple mechanics running one truck, and they have certain compartments that are assigned to them, they can lock their individual compartments while the other one's using the truck. As Will mentioned, we do have the Outrigger here, the side of the crane. On the Outrigger on the side of the crane, it is going to extend out. This is all hydraulic controlled, and that's something that's also a little bit exclusive to the T-Max bodies, is that we do put the controls for the Outriggers inside the crane compartment. And speaking of the crane compartment, I think this is
that also is a good point, Pat. on those controls for the Outriggers, a lot of the competition will actually mount those in the back here. And as you know, anything mechanically that has any kind of wear parts on it, to be mounted outside, to be out of the elements, is paramount. They last 10 times longer, and working in the rain at night. The mechanics that are in these trucks aren't out in sunshine every day, so it's really helpful to have this out of the elements, if you will.
Yep, absolutely. Now, when we talked about this, we said it a couple times, this is an aluminum body. So the side packs are aluminum, the doors are aluminum, but they're still where there still needs to be. So here on this body, let me close this door for a second here. If you notice on this body, this is the crane compartment body, or side pack. If you notice, it is completely separated from the rest of the body. So we have aluminum here. This is constructed of steel still. And what that does is, the reason why they isolate that is that you're going to be putting a lot of torque and tension on this crane. You're doing a heavy load. When you're working with aluminum, it doesn't like any type of stress. So what they do is they have a torsion system mounted underneath the body that spreads and disperses the load of the crane down this box, across the frame, and tied directly into the Outriggers. So all that tension, any type of twist or anything like that is all happening on the torsion system while leaving the side packs alone. If you notice our competition, you know, they will either leave this all together, or they might see inside the crane compartment here, they'll have additional structure inside to help accommodate the crane. Again, we talked about where you want as much room as possible inside these compartments. We do not have any of that structure in here. This is made out of 1/4 inch steel with a 3/4 inch top on it. With it being a crane compartment, we try to make it as airtight and watertight as possible. With the bolts being up here, we do have a catch pin on the bottom of the crane right here. And we also, this clear tube is the drain for that catch pan. So we try to catch any type of moisture coming into this compartment by draining it right through here. You also notice in the crane compartment, this is where we mount our air reel for this. This is a 1/2 inch air hose tied directly into the air compressor. That is 50 feet of long.
Comes right off the back there.
Right off the back.
I'll show you here.
Fully retractable. So the isolated crane compartment is a huge opportunity with the T-Max bodies. No one else in the industry is currently using something like this. We feel that the technology, the design behind it is probably the best in the industry.
Yeah, that's a great point. It also cuts down on any separation, cracking that might occur during heavy picks. So it's definitely proprietary and one of the things that sets us apart from the competition. So.
Absolutely. Moving around, again, this is fully customized however you want it. We have shelving in here. On the other side, we did have a tool chest. You can design it however you want. You can go as high as you want on the tool chest. You can divide it however you would like. Shelving, 250 pound on the shelving. The last thing I want to talk about on this body specifically is the oxygen and acetylene compartment here. So this compartment is vented to hold oxygen and acetylene tanks. We do have straps to accommodate it. This is 60-inch side packs. So 60-inch high to handle a 60-inch tank if you have one, as well as 22 inches deep. We do put a hook here, and that's to accommodate any type of hoses that you have to accommodate those tanks. Or you could put a oxygen and acetylene reel right in here as well, tied together, and then you'd have your oxygen and acetylene right there. There is something I want to show you on, so this is the T-Max 214 right here. What I do want to show you is on our T-Max 1, how we accommodate that. So on a T-Max 111, as you notice, it's a very similar setup as the other body we look at, the T-Max 2. These are 52-inch cabinets, 22 inches deep, but instead of doing a raised compartment, we actually do an 8-inch drop. So if you notice, there's an 8-inch drop. It's not much lower than the running board on the truck itself, so you don't have to worry about it possibly scraping on any type of job sites. But instead of going up on the compartment, we go down below, and that helps accommodate getting the same size tank that you would need, say, in a T-Max 211 or 214. So that's what we do only on our T-Max 1s.
And the storage too on the aluminum compartments, as Pat says, we lead the industry in space. Every mechanic, service technician, space is paramount. So having the space and not losing tool storage, if you will, is a great selling point for our truck.
Absolutely. So now Will's going to go over
Yep.
some of the operations or some of the features on the body itself, as well as how to operate it.
Yep.
Well.
So we're going to hop in the cab of the truck here, and basically go over some steps of the functionality of the system, how we start the compressor, how we engage the PTO. So I'm going to crawl up in the truck now, and we'll take a look. So in the truck, there's an Latch system, and everything is fully operational here. It's right beside the passenger seat. So on the far left-hand side is a button to run your hydraulic compressor, which is in the back. Let me start with saying every time you get in to engage your hydraulic system, PTO system, you have to have the parking brake on. So on the far left here on the E-Link, there is your button for your compressor. Then you have your working lights as well as your PTO to engage the hydraulic system. So we'll talk a little bit about the compressor on this particular truck here on the 214. It's an American Eagle 46 twin piston hydraulic driven compressor. This is our standard compressor offering, but we do we're partners with other compressor manufacturers out there. So whatever you want to configure your truck, we can make that happen for you. But this is our standard 46P. It's hydraulically driven, as you can see. The reservoir is back behind where Pat was earlier. We'll get a shot of it, but it's a 46P twin piston series compressor. We'll go around to the back here, talk a little bit about the crane. This really sets us apart from the competition. The way it's put together, and I'm going to start here with the steel plate. The steel plate is a very robust construction where what it's in place for is to keep the crane off of the compartment. It adds structural rigidity and helps the crane not to separate from the cabinet. It also integrated here is a warm gear system, and that gear, what it allows that crane to do is to do a 400-degree turn when you're working under load as well. The next feature on this particular crane is the valve bank system, which is right here. I'll get up and kind of point it out to you. These apparatuses right here. It allows us to override anytime the CDT Plus, which Pat's going to go over here in a minute, which is our remote control system on this particular crane. It allows you to override the system and operate it if you're in a mine where you couldn't get signal or something mechanically went wrong with the crane. You could actually override it. And it's accessible. You don't have to get in. You don't have to move any steel or compartments or whatnot. So it's very accessible, very easy to work on. But I do put a disclaimer. Please contact us or the manufacturer before you start that process.
As Will mentioned, we do have the controller here. This is a CDT Plus controller. The CDT Plus controller is available on cranes from 7,000 pounds and up. It is magnetic, so it will stick to the body. Now, if on an aluminum body, it will only stick to the crane compartment. So on this controller, it's a one-handed controller with a portion valve remote or trigger on the bottom. So you can control your speed of the crane moving, your line going up and down. However you'd like is going to be the control of just your trigger right here on the back of the remote here. You can do some other functions on this remote. So you can actually start or stop the truck itself. So if you're going to be doing some work, you need to do a pick, you're going to be working on the truck a little bit, and the truck doesn't need to be running, or say the job site has a strict running idle policy, you can go ahead and turn the truck off here on the remote. If you need to increase the RPMs of the compressor, you can go ahead and do that here as well. And then you have your standard feature functions of your line, your swing, and the crane functions itself. This remote is probably the leading industry in the crane world today. In fact, it actually gives you live data of what's going on. The CDT stands for Crane Dynamic Technology. So basically, this remote is taking the guessing game out of what that crane is currently experiencing. So if you look here on the screen itself, it's telling you right now that the load percentage is 0. Depending on how much you're picking, it's going to tell you what percentage to the load that you're currently at. We're just going to run through some of the options on here. So the weight. So that's the biggest thing. How much weight am I lifting? So depending on the weight that you're picking up, it's going to give you live feedback right here on your hands of what exactly you're picking to make sure that you're doing a safe pick. A couple more options is how much remaining pounds that you have. So at that, and it's going to tell you at whatever crane length that you're currently at. So if you're fully extended, it's going to tell you how much pounds you have left. If it's fully in, it's going to tell you how much. So it's giving, like I said, that live data information back just to make sure that you're operating the crane in a safe manner. Remaining, the max rotation, the radius, and the angle of the pick. So these are some of the features that it's currently doing, and this is all live feedback right here at the remote. This is taking the guessing game out of the end user or out of the operator. Of course, we still have the spec sheets here to sort of tell you exactly what the crane is currently doing at what capacity. Another exclusive feature to the CDT Plus is this boost feature. This boost feature is we know a lot of times mechanics or the operators get their crane into a tricky situation where there might be maxing it out, but all they need to do is get it up and over a little bit, and then they can get through and back into safe operating mode. What this does is the crane's actually engineered a little bit over to spec, and if you hit this boost function on the controller right here, it will allow that crane to actually go past 100% of operation. It'll go up to 118% for a short amount of time. And that's not designed to be used all the time, but there is times where you just need that extra little lift or that extra capacity just to get you out of that tight situation and then move on. When you're getting closer to max load of what the crane can handle, at 80%, the remote will start to vibrate. When you get to 90%, it's going to start vibrating more. When you get to 100%, the remote will vibrate non-stop until you get out of that out of max capacity. As Will mentioned, this is a wireless remote. It can work, away from the vehicle to stay away from a little bit in a safe manner. There is times where possibly the batteries might die, or there might be an opportunity, or there might be a situation where you're underground in a mining and the remote transmission is not able to transmit, to relay the information. We do, with all of our trucks, offer a tether switch. So it's basically just a tether line where you pull the batteries out here on the bottom, you would slide this in there, and then you would screw this end cap right where Will's pointing at, and that's the receiver of the module. So that way, if you are in a situation where your batteries die or it won't send signal, you still can do a hardwire to operate the crane. The remote, it does have a safety feature on it. A lot of times when you're working out of the back of the truck, you have a tendency to sort of maybe forget what's behind it at times. Maybe you're in a rut, usually at night. If you have the remote, the controller standing on the back of the cabinet, you might want to start to think about driving away. There is a safety feature. These remotes are not cheap, so there is a safety feature built into it. And basically there's a cradle inside the truck between the two seats. It's very similar to where Will showed you that E-Link system to engage the PTO, but it sits in a cradle there. If you go to start the truck and go to drive away, or try to drive away I should say, this is going to display a loud beep inside the cab to let you know something's missing. So if the remote is not in the cradle before you drive away, it is going to display a loud beep until you realize, hey, there's something wrong, and then this is back in the cradle, the beep will go away.
Next, I'd like to talk about another pretty neat feature of this crane system is the planetary gear system, which is right here. It's the winch. Within this is a planetary gear winch. And what this allows this crane to do with that remote control there is to actually move up to 60 feet per minute, single line. So that's a really great feature for accessibility, mobility, if you will, out in the field to be able to work safely and quickly. Next, we're talking about the structural of the boom. This particular crane is a hexagonal boom, and all of our cranes, all of our crane booms are from 3,000 to 14,000 pound, have the hexagonal structure. And what that is as you can see here, there's two V's, one on the top and one on the bottom. So during picking instances, whether it be a undercarriage, a track, whatever the mechanic or the service technician is picking up, it allows that boom not to sway side to side, and it also at max, when it's stretched all the way out, gives it that rigidity and that strength to hold on, so it won't warp, it won't bend or anything like that. So, and just to let you know, this is proprietary to our crane. Now, proprietary to the competition doesn't use it. They use more of a square, tubular steel, and you can see some flex from time to time, but we feel this is the best engineered solution. If you see this hook here, and we'll go over and take a look at the 7,000 pound crane in a minute, I do want to mention something on the nomenclature. On the you see the 12630, that's a 12,000 pound crane at 6 foot. It can lift 12,000 pounds at 6 foot, 30 foot out. So all of our nomenclature is the same, and it's all read the same way. The next feature that is pretty uncommon out in the field, and what we do on our cranes is a snatch block and a flip ship. As you can see, the stow hook here, this stow block is off, the snatch block is off the stow hook, if you will, and that happens from that CDT Plus remote control that Pat was talking about it a little while ago. So you can take this, and one person can actually release this stow hook, release a snatch block off the stow hook by themselves out in the field. You don't need, there's no closed hook. As you can see, it's open. So once you get this boom to 60 degrees in the air, it would automatically release by itself, which is a great safety feature. You only one person, you don't have to have any help doing it. We'll go over to the 7,000 pound crane. As you can see here, this is the snatch block fully stowed on the stow hook, and as you can see, it's open for easy release and easy put, easy stowing back on it. We also have a two lock system, anti-two lock, that helps this tackle not to be able to retract back in the end of the boom here. It's a safety feature that our cranes have. And the second feature is, if you can see that flip shift, this is the flip shift portion here. This one is out and level with this crane boom. This allows us to get in tighter spots where the competition can't do that. Really narrows the footprint and allows those picks to be in tighter spots. As you can see, this particular flip shift here is actually down, and then that one for your, so you can see the difference is actually out. That's the mechanics trucks. One thing nice about the mechanics trucks that we offer, it's fully customizable to meet your needs. The cranes range from electric cranes to hydraulic cranes. We have compressors that are PTO driven to engine driven 3-in-1 units that have generators on it. We can load them up with tools. We can help you, not load up with tools, but we can help design it the way you want to fit your tools. We can help accommodate, do weight analysis to see how it looks like on the axle weights. We do lube systems. If you are doing a lot of PMs out in the field, we do have specialized lube systems that fit into the load space, run off the air compressor on the truck. We do 40-40-60s. We can definitely accommodate a need to help whatever that you're looking to achieve. And
Absolutely. One thing nice, we've, like I said, one of the greatest engineers out there. We have a full team to be able to spec out truly what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
We're going to go ahead and open up to any questions.
For any questions?
Go ahead and log in and leave a comment.
There are no questions yet.
No questions yet?
Okay. We'll give it one more second here. Again, we wanted to thank everyone for the time that they've given us the past 2 days. It was an honor to display not only our new Phoenix, Arizona facility, but some of our staple product lines that we have. It's been an honor. If there's anything we can do to help you and your teams, please let us know.
Let us know.
Be glad to assist.
Absolutely.
If we don't have any more
have any questions? No questions.
Well, we wanted to thank everyone again.
Thank you, guys.